Yeah. Hey, yo, Black, it's time. Word. Word, it's timing. It's time, man. Alright, begin. Yeah.
Good afternoon. It is March 14th, 2018, Wednesday. This is the market wrap video. As we started at the pre-market open, we had notated the issues with the larger falling resistance line as we were coming into the open, and whether the A had a B wave here with a continuation of a C wave down, which is exactly what we've gotten. Looking at it coming into resistance on that much argued price, using that not as support but as resistance to push for lower, with some pretty flashy volume at pretty critical moments today to the sell side. The obvious motivation on cooling down some of the premium that was completely imbalanced going into the expiry come Friday morning on SPX and Friday afternoon for everything else. They did a pretty good job in shaking a good amount of money out of the tree. Now, do we have completed degrees? A, B, C of A, B, and C. Well, of that degree, we fell a little bit short. Its 100 is about right here. As you can see, as I'm rolling over and lighting this up, well, that's also pretty much the line in the sand. So maybe it will fall a little bit short. I kind of, looking at the close, I would have preferred for it to come down one further degree to really push it to the absolute limit and then catch a really strong bid from there. Stopping here leaves the potential with some downside resistance that when we reopen at 6, we could just drop to tag it and then start moving up. Now, how we move up is very important. With the supposition that this could have A, B, and C complete, if it made another move back towards 70, okay, there's enough runway and time for this to make its larger degree C, A, B, C, B, and then come down again, A, B, and C. I know that seems extreme at about 2,700, but it's an adequate 61.8% retrace of the larger move up, of the larger degree move up. So it is live. We are concerned about that with the bounce into the evening, into the open tomorrow, that we could get a strong follow through below 37. So 37 still remains a strong price. You could say that it's a little bit tighter than that, about 34, but that general area, that 37 to 34 area, is pretty critical. Now, even if we broke it, I would assume that we'd come back up to retest it and then probably follow through. It's got very good support and resistance that's been tested multiple times. So really it has to break this resistance to really break away. Now, the other is if this is the A to the B to the C relationship here, I'll move this over just a little bit to get that top. You'll notice that the higher degree also aligns very well with those 83.6% retracement fib. So there is the potential to do A, B, C, B, and C. It's just with the calls so heavy and thick, the more money to be made is keeping them into the market as best as possible for as long as possible, because it makes a lot more money as their contracts decay. So as it stands right now, we came to the 83.6% retracement of this degree. We still got to give the credence to a decent bounce, just as we did last night. Looks like we may have to again today. Whether it will hold or start moving down to make it a kind of flush out into tomorrow with a lot of contracts that are up against time is really the question. So this in purple, is it all of B or just A of it with B and C to come, is really the question that is most pressing for the next 2 sessions to close this week. Generally, we've been kind of range bound. We bound up here about a week ago, okay? And we've come back pretty much resetting the clock to 0. That says to me that a lot of action was taken away. Maybe that's enough. As well, with this rising support that is held on major occasions, it's being approached right now as well what you can see there is if the line goes dead at about 2750 rattling around and we don't really get anywhere, it really looks like it could pop for the opening ring to, hurt one side of the trade or the other. So I'd much prefer to get outside of this support or this resistance come tomorrow, one way or the other, to get a better feeling for this pattern, how it could complete, and what could come next. So we're in a pretty tough spot. It was what we had surmised. That was too shallow. We got this one. It still seemed too shallow, but we looked to the bounce this morning, and surely it followed through. So let's go take a look at CL. It also gave us a lot of what we were looking for today. We came into the A, B, and C relationship with an A, B, and a C into the inventory report, and we did take the dive as surmised. Didn't quite come up as high as I thought it might have. This resistance here has been attacked as much as possible, but it really was kind of lethargic when it got there. That gave me some semblance that maybe it's running out of gas here. So the A to B, potentially to the C, is live now into tomorrow. It made its high retrace. Wouldn't take much for it to get up and over. The issue here is of this close, when you get up close, A, B, and C. So I tend to believe that this may need to try and attack that resistance, saying maybe this was a significant enough low, give it the go at it. So I've got two different areas here and here. Let me add that at 61 and 61 and a half, essentially, where there's good solid resistance that showed before, if it will push for the degree down, and we're approaching them very rapidly. So within this subdegree, A to B to C looks a little small. So it does kind of harken to that 61 and a half area a little bit more. A, B, C up to there, or even A, B, C of A, B, and C to take a little bit more time to get up to there. So while we're below this high, the safest find, we're coming over 61.31. All eyes are on 61 and a half. Let's move on to GC. It also had a very interesting day. We called quite well, coming up into that retest. So we were coming into pre-market. We came back up and we were looking for the follow through for the A of the first C wave, which we got right to 21. Didn't quite break it, so it didn't tell us that the degree down was immediately growing. Now we've got A, B, and C, it seems, to again retest that resistance. And if it fails, okay, A, B, C of A, B, C of B, B, C of the A. And I really like that area, that 1318. There's a lot of confluence with showing does it still have support? Could it be A and a deep B and a C up? It leaves a lot of possibilities front and center. But if I look at where the price could be a knife fight, it looks in this area come tomorrow, maybe at the open at about 1318. It could pop for 27 and a half. That's perfectly fine for this degree. And really, if it capped here and that degree is off, and we're talking about a 100, it aligns quite well with this top here. Let me just get that right for you. I'll just light up the 100 and you'll notice that it's right there. So to me, that really looks like where the fight will be if it's coming for degreeing up and then following through. Me, essentially, I've got resistance on my side. I've got this resistance on my side. Sticking the short at 30.5 is going to stay for me with the press forward. Generally, got three waves down, layered 1 degree off. Got to bounce up, added another degree short. So now I've got one with the serious buffer for the other. So really nothing would really touch me until we were attacking 32 and a half to 33. Now also within GC, there is the possibility that it's a high bounding B wave. A, B, C of A, B, C, B, C, or B, and it wants to go A, B, and C up to that 836 of higher degree up here at 1337. So that's why I'm pretty cognizant of the 34 area. Really, if it broke over it, it probably would come back down to about that 30. So it's got a couple of ways out. That's why I'm continuing to press the short on the overnight. Generally, I don't without options as insurance, but in this general case, um, it seemed okay to continue to do that. But this falling resistance line is quite good. It got some pretty strong resistance as well. So, general alerts here at 1327 and a half, and then, 30 or over. But generally, A, B, C at least for the A to B to C bounce of that B wave potential also still looks good. So to me, all roads still seem to be talking about 1317. So that's all the news worth printing. We should get a lot more answers tomorrow. We could have some serious action tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be getting, any place significant. Though the action has looked dramatic, I wanted to show you one last thing that, looked pretty reasonable, which is, we've essentially been working a range of about 20 points. You look at that, that's 2804 to 2784. And if you look again to the next degree down, again, it's another 20-point increment. If you do the same one more time, that's where that bottoming could be. So as out of control or scary or, sell-off this might have looked, see it for what it truly is. It's just a range-bound haggle of the contracts that are on and expiring in the front week. I'll give you a sneak peek at some of that if you'd like to see how the cash is laid out. We had this, let it retabulate. Okay, we had this as high as 32 billion yesterday. So about $9 billion in call premium disappeared today. The imbalance down below also was to about 60 plus. So we, about 20 billion in overall premium disappeared today from the book as well. So when you look at stats like that and what's been accomplished, moving flat and then making fast moves down is printing a lot of money, especially when it looks scary and it's just a range-bound step. So thus far, we've made range-bound steps against this move. We haven't broken it. If we do, then, we'll be looking for the next degree. Down, quite simply. Okay, so that's the update for this evening. I hope you all had a very good day. I was happy to be back online, and looking at this now, we're going to get a lot of answers potentially on the overnight, but I think it's going to have to wait till tomorrow morning, and we'll be cognizant of the bounce and puke, or just get out of here and start hustling back towards 2800. I think the meander to fall looks the best. Could we, get the A, come up to the B, kind of the tip of the spear here where we had that support, and say, oh, I still got a chance for it to extend higher with A, B, and C in the bag. And then it goes BC, the bell rings, they kept a fortune, the corrective is over, and we start to climb all over again, pointing towards the earnings season. So let's see what we get. I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one. Cheers.